Imagine an environment where sound enters, but never returns. A place where the rustle of wind, the calls of wildlife, and even the echo of your own voice are completely absorbed by the earth beneath your feet. From the outside, the 30 square kilometers spreading across the base of Mount Fuji look incredibly peaceful. Viewed from above, this thick canopy is often called the Sea of Trees, a lush, seemingly untouched expanse of green. Step beneath that canopy, however, and the environment aggressively shifts. The dense pines block out nearly all sunlight, plunging the forest floor into an immediate twilight. The ambient noise of the outside world drops to zero, replaced by a thick, heavy silence. If you try to navigate your way out, a compass needle will spin erratically. Cell phones lose their signal entirely. Massive deposits of volcanic iron buried directly beneath the forest floor emit intense magnetic interference, rendering standard navigational equipment useless. You are physically severed from the outside world. This is a geographical dead zone, where even the most basic survival tools simply fail. To understand why this specific area acts like a vacuum, we have to look back to the year 864. That year, Mount Fuji violently erupted, blanketing miles of the surrounding landscape in a thick sea of boiling lava. When that magma finally cooled, it didn't form flat, solid air pockets. In acoustics, engineers build highly specialized rooms called anechoic chambers. Lined with deep foam wedges, they trap sound waves and completely eliminate background noise. The jagged lava rock on the forest floor acts exactly like that acoustic foam. When a sound wave hits the ground, it enters those millions of microscopic cavities and dissipates. Instead of bouncing back, the energy is swallowed by the stone. Aokigahara is essentially nature's own anechoic chamber. It is a geological anomaly that strips away the constant auditory feedback we rely on to understand the space around us. Human orientation depends on a constant stream of auditory data. When that feedback is removed, the brain struggles to maintain its map of reality. In that void, the mind grows desperate for any signal, often fabricating its own to fill the silence, a phenomenon known as auditory hallucination. People who wander off the trails frequently report hearing things that aren't there: a sharp crunch of dry leaves right behind them, hushed whispers, or sudden distant screams echoing from the ice caves. These reports are deeply tied to a dark local history. During a severe famine in the 19th century, starving families were sometimes forced into a practice called ubasute. Unable to feed everyone, they carried their sick and elderly deep into this specific labyrinth of trees and left them to succumb to the elements. Because of this grim past, Japanese folklore claims the forest is populated by yurei, vengeful spirits of the abandoned, permanently tethered to the twisted roots and frozen caverns, unable to ever leave the darkness. This leaves us with a deeply unsettling question. Are these phantom voices simply the result of a mind breaking down inside an acoustic vacuum? Or does the absolute silence of the forest act as a megaphone, finally allowing the history of this place to be heard? To combat disorientation, visitors employ a desperate countermeasure. They unroll brightly colored plastic tape, tying it to branches to forge a path back to safety. In a landscape where every direction looks identical, that thin ribbon becomes your only lifeline. But those who have survived getting lost in Aokigahara share a remarkably consistent, terrifying detail. After wandering for hours, they turn to follow their plastic ribbon home, only to find the tape has been deliberately, cleanly sliced in two. According to local legends, this is the final act of the yurei, intentionally severing your only hope of escape. Psychologists point to extreme sensory deprivation, arguing that the isolation triggers severe paranoia, spatial distortion, and self-sabotage. When you are standing completely alone in a geological trap designed to swallow your screams and scramble your senses, can you ever really trust what your own mind is telling you?